Hello and welcome to the Biz Kidz Podcast. I'm your host, JD Ravalli, and I'm excited that you are here today to experience entrepreneurship in real life. We are about creating opportunities for kids and parents to learn about entrepreneurship and learning from people that have done it. And so I have a guest today. We have a co-host actually first. Casey, if you haven't seen Casey before, she was on episode 2. She told us her story. She was one of our Biz Kids that started when she was 11 years old and now runs her own catering business. And she is going to be interviewing Diane. Diane Pisani is in the home watch world. She created a home watch training program to teach people about all the do's and don'ts of home watch. I am a student, and I believe she said I was her favorite student. A graduate and her favorite student of all times, if I remember right.
Yep.
And also, when I got to know Diane, she was the president of ESOA, which was the Entrepreneur Society of America. And so she has brought in a lot of guests and knows the entrepreneurship world very well. So she has a wealth of knowledge. She also knows the nonprofit world. And so she's been a great mentor of mine as we started our nonprofit and got our 501c3. She was there to help mentor and coach me with a lot of do's and don'ts of that. So thank you very much for all you've done for me, Diane.
It's a pleasure.
So the way this is going to work today is Casey is going to ask the hard-hitting questions. And so I'm going to turn it right over to Casey to go ahead.
Perfect. Well, I'm excited to talk with you, Diane. First of all, I just love to hear how you got into the home watch business and what made that the thing that you wanted to do.
It's a great question. It's oftentimes I'm asked, how did you find home watch? And home watch found me. Like every entrepreneur, we all have a little bit of a backstory. And the short version of it is, first of all, I've been self-employed absolutely, positively, a lot longer than you've been alive, Casey, because I didn't start as young as an entrepreneur as JD's kids are. That's for sure, the Biz Kids. But I had my first business at the age of 26. And that was a travel agency, a cruise-only travel agency for many years. And that was in Indiana. And after I moved to Florida, I learned about home watch quite serendipitously because the real estate professional that I rented from said, Diane, you would make a great home watch and concierge person. And I said, well, I know a concierge is usually at a hotel, and what in the world is home watch? But the essence of all of this is something that you do and I do in our own fields. And it really boils down to customer service. I truly think we're all in the customer service industry, and doesn't matter if that's your first job in fast foods or starting a business or owning a business or being a great employee. It's all customer service, and it depends where you put those skills. So home watch truly, truly found me.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you tell us also about the evolution of that from owning a cruise line travel agency to now being a mentor to other people who want to get into the home watch business? How was that pipeline?
Okay, that's another great question. And I love JD and Casey too. I love this because there's no prep time ahead of time. And that's what's kind of neat. So I can see clearly you did your research.
We're all about the gotcha question.
Well, I'm ready for all of it. and that authenticity comes pretty naturally here, let me tell you. I don't know how to be anything other than. So the evolution, I got a corporate job back in the day. So I chose not to go to college. And I went to work for the telephone company because a million years ago, we only had one. And so I did that and started the age of 19. Those are the kind of jobs you stay at forever. The office closed, and it was one of the most devastating things I thought in my life. And we had an option to either relocate, commute very far, or take a termination package. And I took the termination package because it gave me money to go to travel school. So here I am, this little girl from Indiana, still in her early 20s, going to travel school and in downtown Chicago. So I think I'm just the coolest thing ever in the Time Life building. And I graduated from travel school after several months and went to work for a travel agency and learned that in the travel industry, you don't make a lot of money. When you work for a big corporation, you make a lot of money. So that's kind of that. So it's okay, so it goes. I worked in Chicago for a while, and then I went ahead and worked for a local travel agency. And that only lasted about a year because they were paying minimum wage. And I remember asking my boss, it's I would like to take this extra education and everything. I said, what do you think about it? She said, you can do whatever you want. You have to pay for it yourself, and I'm not going to pay you anything more. It's like, it's illegal to pay me less. So about a year later, I opened up my own travel agency in her town. So, and then it just kind of went from there. 17 very wonderful, successful years, all because of customer service skills. Like, we go back to that. When you have the people skills, you've got everything. I moved, after that, all that time, I moved to Southwest Florida, and that's when HomeWatch found me. So I worked for a HomeWatch company for a while. That was my initial education. And from there, I went to work for the realtor who told me about HomeWatch and started her HomeWatch division and concierge division. And that was in like 2003 or 2004, somewhere around there. And January 6th of 2006, with a business partner, we launched our own HomeWatch company. So I stand before you in my 19th year in HomeWatch. And this is like a cooler anniversary to me than like my 20th or whatever, because 19 is my lucky number. It's my happy number. I can't pass a roulette wheel at a casino without playing number 19. So that's my lucky number. So, and I was thinking about the interviews, like, Diane, how long have you been in the HomeWatch business? And like over 19 years. And I'm possibly one of the few, if not only, people that has that claim to fame, because it was not an industry back then. It was not an industry. And you, Casey, as an entrepreneur, you started doing what you do because you had a passion for it and you saw a need.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
the fact that you got that when you were, 11 years old? I'm a late bloomer, evidently. I thought I was kind of cool being a self-employed person at the age of 26. That was a very long time ago. So that's kind of the story. So Bob, my business partner, Bob, and I started our HomeWatch company. And we grew very, very quickly. And that's another thing that you as an entrepreneur need to look at. It's the opportunities that come your way, and it's the feeling in your gut that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that's my wish for you. And I know that that's part of what JD brings across in the mentorship programs. So we grew quickly. Very, very quickly. We found that HomeWatch, which was a hobby back in those days, and we called it neighbors doing favors or hobby home watchers that were doing whatever they were doing. They were popping in. We found very quickly that the industry was very, very fragmented. Another thing I want to point out to the young entrepreneurs is always go to somebody for advice. And just a couple of years into the HomeWatch business, I, was frustrated because I wanted to refer overflow business to folks, and I couldn't find anybody worthy of a referral from me. And that's not because I'm a smarty pants. It's because, when somebody is doing the right thing. I couldn't find people doing the right stuff out there. So you call one of your friends. So I called my friend Julie. I said, Julie, I don't know if I have a harebrained idea or not, but I know that if it is harebrained, you'll tell me that it is. And I said, I'm thinking of starting at least a HomeWatch training 101, because I can't find people to refer to. So I think I'll just grow my own people and teach them the basics and help them start their business. I will thank her forever. She said it was a good idea. And that was in 2008. And I think the first training program, we had maybe 12 or 13 people there. So I knew I was onto something. That's how the training began.
That's awesome. So from the training aspect that you do now, is that something that, like you said, it evolved from like a need for that in the community, but also is that part of why you're so passionate about it, is because of the customer service and like helping other people follow what they want to do?
Absolutely, positively, yes. One of the things we realized early in our career was that these seasonal homeowners were either underserved or taken advantage of. And that's what drives an entrepreneur also is, it's like, darn it, it shouldn't be this way. Somebody needs to fix it. And that needed to be fixed. Every day of my life, I know that I work for the seasonal homeowners. My business partner and I did a very, very good job. And that's kind of what started it too. It's like we would hear stories of things that were happening. Home watchers either like didn't show up. Back then we didn't have software, and a homeowner would call every now and again and say, well, Diane, I came back to my condo and my home watch person had the sign-in sheet filled out 6 weeks in advance. So, that means they're not going. And guess what, guys? That's stealing money. That's just absolutely wrong. Or properties that would be misused, anything from as little as maybe the home watcher parking their car in the neighbor's driveway or something, to the home watcher letting their friends or relatives stay at one of their clients' homes without permission. And it goes on. And that was just unacceptable. And my business partner and I, we could only affect so much change. So we had you can only handle so many clients, but to affect real change, it just evolved to the training company. And that way we train folks to launch and grow their own home watch businesses. Nothing more fulfilling in the world. Casey, honey, I've been self-employed since 1986, and I am still entrepreneurially excited every day of my life. And that's what I want for you guys, for all your biz kids, the ones that catch that spirit and keep it. If you can be happy 5, 10, 15, 20 years or more from now, that's an entrepreneur's life well lived.
It's really in our blood. It's in our blood, and we just can't get it
out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, and people will ask sometimes, it's like, well, are you done? Let's say, Diane, when are you done working? It's like, done working. Personal stuff or fun stuff is just something I do in between working. Or somebody at an interview one time, they had the audacity to ask me what my hobbies were. And that was the first question that ever stumped me.
Yeah, that's why I chose to make my hobby into what makes me money. There we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's in your blood. It's in your blood. And the fact case that you got this so early is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, going along those lines, something that I see a lot with like people my age, like especially entrepreneurs, is that they want to run towards the next opportunity and like sprint to the next big thing. With you, like you said that your business grew really quickly. How do you balance like the chasing the opportunities versus like letting the good things come to you and letting them teach you as you go slowly?
JD, she's impressing me a lot here, an awful lot. Okay, here's one of the tough things about being an entrepreneur and a creative person. You can see all levels of the picture at the same time. And the ones that are 10 steps away oftentimes are the fun levels. And that's where you want to do the work, but you have to do that other stuff first. And here's the good and bad news case. You're always going to feel that, and you're always going to be chasing it. You're always going to be disciplining yourself. It happens now that I'm in a role of an educator. It happens so much with my new business owners. And I go back to what a mentor taught me years ago. And he said, Diane, take them as far as they can see and then show them a little bit more. And you have to do those first steps first. And as I discipline the students and graduates of the Home Watch Academy, I'm disciplining myself over and over again. There's fun stuff that I like to do, but you have to do that foundational stuff first. And I guess we would call that part of paying our dues.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the payment that keeps coming due, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. I know this is a cliche question, but what's one thing that was super challenging for you along the way that you had to push past and keep getting through?
Super challenging for me? Lots of stuff. But, I'm going to go back to the travel agency for a while, because especially that super challenging for any entrepreneur is that first year or two. And people would ask me, it's like, Diane, how's the travel business and everything? And I would say, it's great. I said, I'm building an empire. Well, in year one, I was, going to work and trying to stay awake sometimes because nothing was happening. So the challenge is staying engaged. The challenge is also, I don't know if it's a challenge, but it's having a dictionary that doesn't have the word failure in it. Because I don't comprehend failure. I only comprehend lessons, and sticking to it. You guys that are going to be successful in, as you grow up in the Biz Kidz family, oftentimes you're going to be the ones that simply stayed the longest.
Yeah.
That brings up a good question that I have for both of you guys. How do you guys deal with the copycats? We all are in this business and we find that you start something, you get momentum, and then you notice all these other people that have all of a sudden started doing a business exactly like yours. Diane, how do you deal with that?
Not well. Then it goes to the imitation and flattery, and the whole quote paraphrases, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can give. So And Casey, honey, this is another thing I'm going to tell you. Those insecurities with everything else aren't going to go away either. That's definitely going to be a part of business ownership life. And it can bother you at first, then you go through some of the emotional parts, but then I think of it also helps you focus better. So it's like, okay, if somebody else is in the sandbox or copycat or whatever, then I must really, be onto something here. And I just have to do better, just do more better. So more better is a Diane thing. I know it's not proper English, but more better is a Dianeism. But think about something. Think about the retail places, the strip malls and everything. Maybe they get a new business in the strip mall and the new business has a fancy signage and all of that cool stuff. And it just looks better than everything else that's in that retail area. Everybody else ups their game. So that's what kind of gives me perspective, but it will never not bother you.
How about you, Casey? Have you had
Casey,
anybody?
How about you, Casey?
Have you had anybody copycat stuff and you're like, come on, really?
I think that because like I'm so new to it and I'm so young that I haven't seen a lot like locally, but just yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody about my business and like he was talking to me about who my competitors were and like how I'm different from the people around me. And I was talking about like my pricing and all that type of structure. But the reason why I differentiate my business model is because it's me. I'm the one doing it. I know that sounds like a little bit narcissistic, but I think you need a little bit of that to be successful. But I believe in myself and I believe in my talents and I love my customers and I love making them happy and creating a good product for them. And so I think that that's something that gives me the confidence to keep doing it, even though, like, yes, there's competitors and yes, there's other people that maybe make a prettier cake, but I still believe in what I do.
And don't give up, because there are always going to be people that copycat you. As I talked to you about last time, Mrs. Fields, she started her business and people copycat. Was there copycats there? Did you know that Kellogg's cereal, the gentleman named Post was working in the kitchen and learned the recipe, and he took his recipe and stole it basically and started Post cereal. So, that's always out there. People are going to do it. So you just have to be ready for it and know how to prepare yourself mentally so you can push forward and make yourself different. So go back to you, Casey.
Well, I'm gonna give Casey a little credit here for your poise and your wisdom. That's for sure. And more than that, recognizing that you are the face of your business. So we learn this all the time, that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And that makes more difference than you can realize. It's not always a price-driven decision, though sometimes it is, but it's more often a value-driven decision and a purpose-driven decision. So don't change your purpose, Case. Don't change your purpose at all.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
What about you, Casey? Do you have any other questions for our guest?
I would just love to hear like what your mantra was throughout all this and like if that was based on like intrinsic value or like pushing yourself like physically, like with the like business aspect of it.
Thank you for that. Nobody's ever asked me such a cool question. I guess I really have two. And the first one comes from my mom from years ago. She had a lot of illnesses in her early years, never complained, all that kind of stuff. And she basically taught me that, Diane, each day you wake up and you do whatever the day demands. And that is something that has stuck with me. And in my travel agency, I might have had my fancy, manual and my standard operating procedures and everything. But my whole thing with my team was, you make your best decision. You do whatever the day demands, and that will change sometimes several times a day. That has served me very well in life and in business. The next one came from a mentor of mine from many years ago. And this one equally serves me and irritates the bejeebers out of me. And it's this simple: pros play hurt. And he did that one time when there was an event or something we needed to go to and make a presentation. I just wasn't feeling good and I was cranky and I didn't want to do it. And that's all he said to me. He goes, Diane, pros play hurt. It's like, darn it. So yeah, Yeah, they basically, both of them say the same thing in a different way, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that I sometimes struggle with is like, because it's just me doing everything, and like I'm very grateful to have like the business that I have and the customers that require things out of me. And I'm really grateful for that, but sometimes it's hard to like, if I'm sick one day, like there's not someone else to do what needs to be done, like I just have to keep going and keep doing what I need
Casey,
to do.
can I guess that delegation is not one of your favorite things?
Yeah, my control freak characteristic also bashes with that a little bit, but I'm working on it. I'm aware and I'm working on it.
Well, another news flash for you, sweet girl. You're going to be working on it the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You have to watch those baking challenges where they have to bring on a team to help them in the kitchen and learn how to give it over to them, even though they're not doing it right. And you're in a competition.
Yeah.
It will be a lifelong challenge, but that's what makes you that step higher. Yeah. And I'm glad, Case, that you said control freak before I did, because I didn't know if that would be a polite thing to say. But now that you said it first.
No, I'm a proud and healing control freak.
Yeah. I'm a charter member.
Diane, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to our young people, our young entrepreneurs, as they get out there and start their own business?
It's always, always, always going to go back to the customer service thing. And when I did the judging thing at one of your recent events and everything, the things that impressed me most about the kids, not all the kids did this well, but it was the ones that, knew their numbers, knew their elevator speech, or now I'm teaching like to some of my students and everything, and the graduates, try to do your introduction in 3 sentences. If you can do it in 3 sentences, that will serve you well and make that part of who you are, because when you make some of your talking points part of who you are, you're okay when you get nervous. When I get nervous or something, I can't always control what comes out of my mouth. So you have to have that stuff that's in there. So it's the eye contact. It's knowing your stuff. It's the good, firm handshake, especially for ladies. You don't want to do weird, soft handshakes or anything weird. I've been teaching handshakes ever since my training class. JD will tell you from the classroom. But it's knowing who you are, not going away from that. Another term that JD and I both learned from my business coach, we call it our zebra stripe. And on the black and white zebra stripe, our own zebra stripe might be purple or pink or yellow. And our zebra stripe is kind of like our unique selling proposition, the thing that sets us apart. So when people like you and me, Case, it's like, oh gosh, somebody's doing something similar, or what if they're better? You're gonna go through that bit of uncertainty. But then it's like, oh, but they don't have a zebra stripe. And then don't ever discount all your motivational stuff. I keep one on my calendar, and it came from, I think, J.K. Rowling, because talk about JD, people that were almost destitute before they became multi-zillionaires. J.K. Rowling is one of those. And the basic quote is, she does what she does best. The main, I'm paraphrasing, I should have looked at that up before I came here, but it basically says that she does the one thing that she does better than anything else and does more of it. So that's what my self-talk has to be. And it doesn't matter if 3 of us have a pizza joint or a burger joint. Each of us is going to think that, each of us is going to know that my burger is better than both of yours, period. Doesn't matter if it is or not, because not everybody like our same burger, but it's the best that we're giving. So that's what I'm going to say. Yeah, the best has to happen every single day. And when, remember that pros play hurt. So even when you don't feel at your best, you have to show up.
And I'm glad you said about having your pitch. We're working on that this year with our kids, on having them know their 60-second pitch, because you never know when you're going to have that opportunity to tell people about your business. So we're actually going to be adding a lot more competitions where the kids can actually get used to doing that on a more regular basis. So throughout the year. So as you guys are watching and following the Biz Kids, look for our pitch competitions that are going to be coming up. You can do them online, so you can do them from anywhere. So if you're listening to this in the West Coast or over in Hawaii or in Alaska, you can still be a part of it and put in your pitch of your business and experience what it is to be an entrepreneur and understand how to do that. Casey,
and JD, everybody thinks that 3 sentences 30 seconds or 60 seconds is easy. It's not. I would rather do an interview like this than stand up at a networking meeting for 30 seconds. That's what unleashes me, but that's why you have to have that stuff down pat. I could not agree more.
Casey, any final thoughts?
I'm really grateful that I got to talk to you today, Diane. I really appreciate what you had to say, and I loved hearing your story. And I'm really grateful for all of the wisdom and even the confidence that you've instilled in me. So I appreciate it.
There's still a lot more to do. Casey, you impressed the bejeebers out of me. So just
Thank
keep
you.
it up, because you already see how important it is to hone your skills. And then as you grow in your profession, one of the most important things you're going to do is pay it forward. And I know you're a mentor in the making. So good for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, I hope our audience got a nugget of wisdom today from hearing our guest speaker. You know, having mentors like Diane can come in and work with these kids. And even on a platform like this where she shares her experience is just invaluable to the young people. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for always being there and helping out with our events throughout Southwest Florida. If you guys are interested in finding out more about Biz Kidz, it's bizkidzusa.org, and you can find out everything that we're working on. And we have some new programs that are going to be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. So we're excited about those. So I'll let you wait to hear about those. Thank you to our guests, and you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining us today at the Biz Kidz Podcast.